자기소개 한번 부탁드리겠습니다.
Hello, my name is Izaki from Japan. I'm the World Barista Champion 2014 and I'm the coffee consultant. So my brewing recipe is pretty simple because I often do a presentation to a normal consumer, to brew coffee in the home. So you use 6 grams to 8 grams per 100 grams of water. So that's the basic recipe to me. So that today I use the 7 grams of the coffee, so which means then I will brew 300, so which means like 21 grams. And then like if you got the 300 grams of water, we divide in 3 parts. So first for the blooming phase 20%, and then after that in the extraction phase for 21 or 20%, and then 60%. So pretty simple. Alright.
방금 물은 왜 그렇게
to avoid the statics. So especially when you use the grinder like EK43, so that's this fines produces a lot that I usually stuck inside and then in between the bars, so that it's always better to add the water to avoid the statics, so that you can grind the profile you want. Otherwise it's going to be very inconsistent. So if you pour the water a little bit, almost no statics.
분쇄도는 보통 어떻게 사용하시나요?
If it's light roasted coffee and then it generates lots of fines too, you're going to need to go coarser. And if it's a dark roasted coffee itself is not too dense. You can go finer a little bit, yeah? So that depending on the roasting level, so if the elevation is higher, so that the coffee is more dense. If it's dense, then you go coarser. And if it's low elevation like Brazil, you go finer, for example, so that then you can adjust the grind profiles. Adjust the grind according to 3 minutes to 4 minutes. That was more like advanced information. Okay, then before brewing, make sure that brewing gadget is completely warm, especially for the ceramic V60. Ceramic V60 is very heavy, right? So that if it's cold, so that drastically lose the temperature. So you need to make sure that all of the brewing devices, especially this heavy V60 ceramic, has to be completely warm.
V60 세라믹을 많이 쓰시나요?
No, I don't.
그럼 무슨 드리퍼를 평소에 쓰나요?
Plastic, the best material. And then I use the Abaca, and we test every single paper filter available in the Japanese market. In terms of the extractions, in terms of the taste profiles, Abaca is the best, without any doubt. And use Abaca, and then you don't really need to wet the filter. No pre-wetting. It doesn't really make any differences. People taste the water when they brew. When people say like this is so papery, so how they taste is like, basically they pour the water directly to the paper filter, right? And then you taste. Now, of course it's papery. We will put the coffee, and the coffee liquid is come through the paper. So the condition is very different when you do experiment.
그 플라스틱 부유공을 사용하신다고 하셨는데 왜 그런지 한번 여쭤봐도 될까요?
Plastic, not heavy, and as a material, its temperature is much more stable. Ceramic is very tricky because it's very heavy, and I'm a very sustainable man, right? So I don't want to, damage the environment, so I hate it. I don't like it. I just make a well. If you think about the shape of the V60, coffee bed is much thicker in the center. You need to aim of the blooming is evenly saturated the grounds, so that fast pour is very important. So just want to make sure that the conditions.
물 온도는 몇 도로 해주시나요?
Today 94. Usually if it's a light roasted coffee, I recommend like 92 plus 4. So maximum 4, 92 degrees to 96 degrees. If it's dark roasted coffee, 92 minus 4 degrees, so 92 to 88. So you can choose according to your preferences. As far as we tested and also scientifically proven, but temperature is not a big major element to affect to the taste. Not really. As long as it's high enough, should be fine. So I usually recommend my consumer that don't care about the temperature. If it's a boiled water, it's fine. Tell me if you can understand the differences of 92 degrees to 91 degrees. Maybe not. Okay, we're going to pour 300 grams of water. So for the blooming phase, we use 20%. So which means the 60 grams. Okay? So in a fast pour, slow, slow and gentle. I pour a little bit too much, and then I make sure that I have I make sure that I completely saturate the grounds, and then I wait 1 minute because we found that longer the blooming, then higher the extraction. So at least 1 minute.
그러면 뜸을 들이고 이렇게 드리퍼는 항상 이렇게 흔들어 주시나요?
100%, yeah. Because the fast pour is very important. Yeah, in order to saturate the ground perfectly, that directly related to high extraction. After 1 minute passed, and I pour one more 20%, right? 60 grams once again, which means 120 grams. And then same as a while back ago, slow. Not from high position. Okay, gentle. This is second pour, right? And the third pour, we wait until 1 minute more, so which means we wait until 2 minutes. And after 2 minutes, and then we pour 180 grams because 60%. Okay, so the third pour, I used to pour from the more lower height, but from now, I pour from more higher height. Just, this is too high, you hear the sounds, right? But around here, when they stop. So this is where the water comes into very deep in very bottom of the filter. And then you make sure that you wash it away.
왜 3차 때는 이렇게 드리퍼를 높이 들어주는 건가요?
Because in the last pour, you need to make sure that the water comes through to the bottom of the filter, and then so that your coffee bed going to be completely mixed, so that you can make sure that you have full extraction out of the coffee bed.
그러면 아까 더 높이 들면 높이 들을수록 좋은 거 아니에요?
Because if you do it too high, so that water stream is too strong, that's really, that mixed up the coffee bed.
필터 쪽으로 물을 부어주셨는데 그렇게 되면 바이패스되는 물량이 많아져서 약간 밋밋해지거나 그러진 않나요?
No, water level is already high enough. Yeah, it doesn't really bypass. Yeah, it's like 4 minutes, maybe a little bit too fine, maybe. Yeah, if you look at here, right, a little bit wetty. So maybe this is a little bit too fine yet. So that's why I don't usually prefer using the flat burrs for the filter.
항상 코니컬 버를 사용하시나요?
Conical for brewing, yeah. If you use conical, the particle distribution is much more narrower one. That's much more easier to go finer or coarser because this is bimodal grinder, especially EK43, that generates more fines. So that's kind of choke the extraction often. So we extract too much, so it often resulted in over extraction. So that's why I prefer the conical grinder, but a really good one.
왜 21g의 선택을 내리시죠?
It's kind of basic recipe to me because I never tasted, I never brew your coffee with your equipment, so that and I decided, as I said, like 6 grams to 8 grams, right? 6 grams maybe a little bit too weak, 8 grams a little bit too strong, right? So that the 7 grams for me is kind of in between. So basically I let consumer to choose. If you like strong coffee, you go maybe 8 grams per 100. If you like some delicate coffee, maybe you go 6 grams per 100. So it all depends on your preferences. Let's drink Ethiopian wash.
에티오피아 구지 우라가 테베 브루카 워시드 커피를 드렸거든요. 희대님이 완전히 첫 커피를 봤을 때 세팅하는 레시피랑 똑같은 거예요.
Still a little bit over-extracted, I think, yeah?
이 커피가 뭐예요? 확대하지 말고. 원래 내리시던 거랑?
맛있게 나왔는데?
Orange peel, peach, honey. Yeah, it's peach. Peach is there, right? Orange peel in aftertaste.
만약에 좀 오버 익스트랙트 된 것 같으면 여기서 어떻게 변수를 바꾸세요?
Immediately grind size. Don't change anything else. So if you think something wrong with the extraction, especially this one is like over extracted, that's because the aftertaste was a little bit astringent, dry. So that's it's typical over extraction. So that's what I need to do. Simply go coarser. If you look at your coffee bed, a little bit wetty, and so those are the fines, yeah. Those are the fines that absorb lots of water. So that choke the extraction. To me, I think 3 minutes to 3 minutes and 30 seconds around, that's the next goal. And then have a look, and then you taste, and I think it's going to be good. And after that, then you adjust maybe the grams of coffee, maybe 6 grams or 8 grams, and then you adjust according to your preferences.
그러면 아이스 레시피도 한번.
Yeah, let's try. Shoot.
아이스는 몇 그램 커피를 사용하시는 건가요?
For iced coffee, then I choose the 10 grams per 100. So which means that then I'm going to be 300 in total, so that it's going to be 30 grams. Water. Okay. It was in the last brewing in the filter, right? So we are in 11, so that we are going maybe this much coarser. Okay.
아이스인데 오히려 더 붉게 하시네요.
No, not with ice, because with previous extraction, do you remember? It was a little bit over extraction. So now I'm adjusting it. And since we have more coffee to use, so that generates more fines, so that I need to go coarser drastically.
그럼 보통 아이스 레시피 할 때는 분쇄도를 바꾸시지는 않으시는 거예요?
Just leave it same. Son, why do you use this shit? Probably coarser than previously. So make sure that you have completely warm and then set.
얼음은 지금 몇 그램 넣어주신 거예요?
120. So which means that 40% of entire brewing water will replace to the ice. So it means 300 grams here. So 120 grams pour. And we have 180 grams left to pour. So we divide into 3. So 20%, 20%, 20%. Yeah. So which means that 60 grams per 3 times. Easy. I don't know, something like that.
아이스는 물 온도를 몇 도로 해주세요?
94. My whole point is that don't change lots of variables when you extract coffee, because I think the consistency is very important. If you don't achieve consistency, you cannot properly experiment your brewing. Only change one variables at each experiment. Again, 60 grams, 60 grams, 60 grams, yeah? I pour. Slow, gentle. Okay. And you make sure you swap. And then you wait 1 minute. But ideally, if you use the more, dense the ice, that makes your coffee much more tastier too. So if you use the kind of rock ice, for example, properly made ice, that makes your coffee much more live and much more, the tastier. Second pour, same. Gentle. 60 grams, so which means that then you go by the 120. So that then I pour from the higher height, yeah, for the last 60. More faster. And can we finish, I think? 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Much faster than what it is, because it used to be 4 minutes, yeah? We shorten 1 minute by changing grind size for the 5 steps, yeah? So that now, if it's under-extracted, you go back maybe 2.5, more finer, for example. Because grind size is everything, right? If you want to really extract the good coffee, it's always to use the expensive grinder. Okay, done. Center coffee. There we go. Maybe now a little bit under extract because it's a sourness comes up. But one buck was much more sweeter. So what I need to do, go a little bit finer. But it's really good. Really good, huh? Mouthfeel is really good. Sweet. Body is nice. Who roast this coffee? But I can make it even more better. A little bit of adjustment of the grind settings.
근데 진짜 이 개짜갱이 로스팅을 한 거거든요. 안 좋은 커피로도 굉장히 맛있게 내리시는.
We better to use the quality ice so that it's melted slowly, but it's much rapidly you can cold. So that as a result, then you can capture a lot of aromas, a lot of volatile compounds that captured into the iced coffee, so that you can find more flavor, you can find more sweetness, because sweetness is related to the flavor, the volatile compounds.
대기업들을 이렇게 많이 컨설팅을 지금 하고 계시잖아요. 어떤 회사가 있는지 혹시 말씀해 주실 수 있어요?
The company like McDonald's, Luckin Coffee, company in here, yeah, several big company too, yeah. But I think mainly for the coffee chains and also F&B company, so that I translate those most difficult idea and concept to a business side. So that's what I do. I'm not the kind of brand ambassador, I'm a consultant. So it's very different, including a financial knowledge, everything. So if you put on a face on some, for example, for the ready to drink or whatever, and then, you know, if you get paid, that's not the consulting, that's a promotion. Yeah? You see what I mean?
마지막으로 좀 전해주실 말씀이 있을까요, 저희 구독자분들에게?
Like it's been 3 years that I haven't visited to Korea because of the COVID, and then I see, you know, how the Korean industry has evolved from the pretty long time ago. But as far as I see in the coffee industry in Korea, it's just amazing. It's blooming now, right? So then I think this is great timing to enter to the specialty coffee industry in Korea. And then now what I can tell you is that samgyeopsal in Korea is the world best.